Hey guys, welcome to the first Team Intent basic training. This was something that Sarah and I kind of had on our hearts after going to Kids on the Coast and talking to some of the leaders. This was the one thing that a lot of them said that they did on a regular basis for their teams that we really didn't see we had done for you guys, and really laid out a plan to get the training in front of both those that have been here for a while as well as the new person that comes on. So go and grab a pen and paper, a notebook now. It's going to be a training for those of you that are brand new, or maybe you've been here for less than 3 months. This will be great as a foundation of how to start your Advocare business and really how to build using your sponsor to help you along the way. And then if you've been here for a while, this is a great method that Sarah and I use. I know Dina Womble uses it. A number of leaders use this to really help their new people that come on board to get started, define the things that they need to define, get to where they need to get to earn the income that they're looking for. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and start. It's called PALSS. So if you have your pen and paper out, write down PALSS as it is on the board. And we're going to define each one of those. And each one of those kind of defines a step in the process of helping somebody get started in Advocare that's looking to earn income. This is not someone who's looking to take product and enjoy, product and spark and losing 50 pounds. That's awesome. We love people who love product. But those that are looking to earn income, this is specifically designed to help them define the things that they need to define and to get started. So the very first one, the P, is to define your purpose. And you're going to hear this a lot throughout your Advocare journey, to define your purpose. If you're new, you may wonder what is purpose. Think of a goal that you have. If you look at Advocare, and Sarah in a minute will kind of define how this was laid out when she first got started, but think about what you want in Advocare. How much money do you want to earn per month that would make a significant difference, that would allow you to do something that today you cannot do, and what that thing that it's going to allow you to do is. Maybe it's, I want to earn an extra $500 a month so that I can send my kids to private school. Maybe it's I want to earn an extra $1,000 a month so that I can get rid of that part-time job. Maybe it's I want to earn an extra $500 a month to pay down the debt that we have accrued over the last 10 years of marriage. Whatever that is, that's kind of what you need to do to define your purpose. And I want Sarah to share just kind of how Jan did it with you.
Right. So Jan did it with me by saying, okay, Sarah, sometimes we need to dig deeper. We need to think about what it is we really want. And I thought, well, I don't know. I've never really been asked that before. So she said, well, it doesn't need to be later. What do you want right now? If you could have something right now, what would it be? And my thought was, okay, I could buy Mike a new car. Maybe he'd get on board and I could come home from cutting hair. And that was kind of something tangible, something that I could see myself working towards and building this to get was a new car. And so I did that. But once we got the new car, I had built something and we had more to work with, and we could kind of see what our next step was. And I read something a while back that said, people don't buy what you do, they buy why you do it. And so that is why you will always hear in Advocare, you need to define your purpose. Because when you don't want to go to the mixers, when you've had a really long day and you don't want to go to the trainings, or you've gotten a couple no's and you're like, Advocare, I don't want to do it this week. Your purpose is going to keep you going. So defining your purpose here is huge, and it could start off small. It doesn't have to be to quit your job. It doesn't have to be to homeschool your kids. It doesn't have to be to pay off your house right away. It could be that. If you see that for yourself, awesome. But some people don't really see that yet. So it's what you see right now. What is tangible for you right now?
Right. And your purpose, the reason that it needs to drive you, like Sarah said, it should be the thing that when you get done with work, because this business is truly done part-time in the evenings. I mean, if you look at Advocare, 95% of the work that people put in, the phone calls they make, and and all of that, the connections, is done in the evenings, because we all have jobs. Most people have day jobs that they work, and so nighttime is when you can get a hold of people's families. You can get them to a mixer, and so I will tell you, there were days where I would come home from work when we were here in Houston and working towards me resigning, and I will tell you that my purpose to come home and homeschool my kids and to wake up every day and do Advocare and full-time family, it got me to go to mixers I did not want to go to. You get off work, it's been a long day, you spend 10 to 12 hours at the office, you come home and now you have to make phone calls and invite people to mixers or go and help a new teammate get a mixer started. I will tell you, your purpose is the thing that's going to tell you you need to go, because your mind's going to tell you you don't want to go. And so that's why your purpose is important, that it's strong, that it drags you off the couch when you don't want to get off the couch. Okay, so that's purpose, that's the P. And so now for the A, the A stands for advisor. And so a lot of you that are watching this are probably already advisor. Some of you may not be advisor. If you're not, it's all right. If you're not already advisor, this is the starting point for your business. If you want to earn any significant income over about $150 a month, advisor is a decision that you need to make to get there. There's two ways to get there. Really go check out advisormovie.com. Go to your sponsor, your mentor, the person helping you, and say, okay, I want to get to advisor, help me. And they are definitely going to help you. But that advisor decision, because it is a decision, it is something that you have to decide you're going to get to, and you have to decide the way that is best for you, right? Because there's two ways to get there. So advisor is important because it opens up the full compensation plan with Advocare. It allows you to earn income 5 ways. And how can you go and talk to people about the business and about becoming advisor if you haven't done it already, or if you're not committed and working towards it? So advisor is something that you have to decide to do. It's tough to earn income in Advocare when you're not at the top discount level. So I don't know, was there anything you want to talk about advisor?
Yeah, I was thinking, if you're going to use products, when I very first started this, I thought, shoot, I'm going to use the products for forever. I'm going to see where the business takes me. I'm going to work towards a new car for Mike, but advisor was where I needed to be because I was committed to products long term. So maybe you're kind of in that spot where I was in the beginning, where you're like, okay, I'm not sure. I'm going to see where the business takes me. Advisor is still something to seriously consider, because if you're thinking about the business, advisor is where you need to be. If you're committed to the products long term, advisor is where you need to be.
Yeah. So again, it's a decision, not a destination. I remember we said that forever, and I never really understood what that meant. But ultimately, if you're going to get to advisor, you make the decision. You're either going to invest the money to get there, or you are going to truly work over the next 6 weeks to get there. And at the end, if there's something left, let's say you're 300 short, you are committed and you have made the decision you're going to purchase what you need to get to advisor. I mean, that you have to be committed to that to get there, because I will tell you that you can waffle at that decision and get all the way to the end and the hard work goes for naught. So advisor is truly a decision. So, okay, so purpose, you define your purpose, get to advisor. And this one can happen while you're trying to get to advisor. This next, the L, and the L stands for list. In Advocare, Charlie Regis always said, in Advocare, our working capital is not money, it is not income, it is people. So think on your list and have a list mentality as you work Advocare. Who goes on your list? Who could use, I always like to tell people there are 3 categories, right? The first one is who could use the products. Think of the people in your life that need more energy, could lose a little bit of weight, or could gain some lean muscle mass, would love the performance products. Think of the people that the products fit right in their wheelhouse. And then the second column that I usually put down is think of the people that could use the income. Who can use an extra couple $100 a month?
Everybody.
Right. Who's looking for an opportunity? who could use that income, right? Who could use the opportunity? Who would listen to the opportunity? And then the third column, and this is kind of your, like, I only had 2 people in this column. Some people have lots of people in this column. Some people have very little. But the next column, I say the flat tire column, and that is if you were on the side of the road with 3 flat tires at 4 o'clock in the morning, and you called these people, they would answer the phone, and B, get in the car and come and help you. Those people go in this third column, and those are the people that you have credibility with, that trust you, and that truly should be the first people you call about Advocare. So I don't know. I know Sarah has like 8 lists in our house, all over the house.
All the time. Continuing lists, because you know what? You go to the pool this summer, you go to a thing tomorrow, you're going to meet new people. This is the seasons of life. Things are always changing, and I know with us, we have kids that are in different sports all the time, or in different school functions, and so we're constantly meeting people. And obviously, when you first meet somebody, you're not going to puke Advocare all over them, or you may. I don't know. Don't do that. It has been done.
Hold on.
Oh, computer almost fell. But add those people to the list, because it might be that you can talk to them later, or you might meet them and get to know them a little bit more and then scratch them from your list because you don't even want them on your team, because that's happened before too. But I tell you, always have a list that you can add to and scratch from, and continue to, take notes for yourself.
And when you talk to somebody, so you made your list and you're going through it, and you've called a couple of friends, and somebody's like, no, I'm not really interested right now. I appreciate you calling me. That doesn't mean that they go off your list. That just means that they now go on a follow-up list, because no doesn't really mean no. It usually, all 95% of the time, means not right now. And they're going to watch what you're doing. And when the timing is right for them, they know you do Advocare, and so they will come to you to find out more. But your list is always a rotating list. It's always a growing list. No one ever really falls off the list. You just move them to follow up in 60 days, and you follow up with them again in 60 days.
And if you say, I don't know anybody, because I've heard that a lot, I guarantee you have a list of people on your phone. So the list in your phone is a good place to start of people that you know, because off the top of your head, you might be like, oh, I don't know anybody, but you do. You know people.
Yeah. Okay, so once we've created our list, the next step is to put people in front of your sponsor. And this one is one of the things that Sarah and I are going to focus on our basic training on really over the next couple of pay periods. We're going to do one of these pay period. And this is, how do you get people in front of your sponsor? What does it look like to do a 3-way call? What does it look like to do a 2-on-1 meeting? How do I set those up? What are the steps of the success system? And so we're really going to focus on this. But I will tell you, this was the one thing, and I'll let Sarah kind of share a little bit, but this was the one thing while we were on the Kids on the Coast trip that truly, the people that moved fast, that got to Emerald and 9-star Emerald and Diamond in less than 3 years, they all consistently moved people through the success system right away, immediately from the beginning. And that's putting people in front of your sponsor. And so do you mind sharing the Emily story?
Okay, yeah. Emily Eisenach, she's a diamond in Advocare. We had breakfast one morning, and she just blew my mind because of her belief. It was all over her face. Her intent to build this thing and build it fast, because when we first met Emily back in October, she was kind of lost and didn't really understand what the success system was. I mean, she was moving, but she wasn't using the success system. She told me at breakfast, as soon as she started using the success system and putting people on the phone and taking them through the 2-on-1s and the mixers and connecting them with her sponsor and her mentorship, she said people were just moving. It was always about getting people through the system. And some people are just going to be product users, and that's great. But other people see more. And so that was really, as long as we've been doing this, and guys, I use the success system, I know, but it was just more of like a aha. You know what? I sometimes don't get people on the phone right away because I feel like it's not important yet. And that's easy to feel that way. So no matter what, and if you don't know what the success system is, then you should look it up. We can go over that real quick, I guess.
Well, I mean, we're going to cover it, but really, get with your mentor. Like, they can tell you. And if they can't tell you,
call us.
Call us.
I've had somebody say, what's the success system?
Right. Post it on the group page, post it somewhere, and ask the question. And
I think a lot of times we get lost in, we bring somebody on board and they're loving products, and then they get somebody on board who then, sponsors 4 people. And then we think just because they're sponsoring people, they understand how to do this business, and they have no clue. They don't know. They get lost, and they don't know something as simple as a 3-way phone call or the success system. And so it's really important that we stay together in this, and we use the success system, and we use the tools that we have that Advocare provides for us to help move people through the system. So
yeah, and so if you're new, like if you've been around for a while, refocus on this. This was something that we said coming back from Kids on the Coast, was we're going to refocus on putting everybody through the success system. If they're new, if they've just come on board, even if they've been on board maybe a month and we haven't put them on a 3-way phone call, going back and saying, I did you an injustice by not introducing you to the people that are helping me. And so I want to get you on into that success system.
And Angela Gaines is I love her piece. So she said this one time, and I was like, that's so brilliant. Anybody can say and do that. But she said that as soon as she starts working with people, she says, listen, I'm going to put you on a challenge. You have to follow this. You have to be teachable and coachable. It's simple. Right there from the get-go, you're telling somebody that's starting the challenge they need to be teachable and coachable, and that may mean getting on the phone with who's helped me through this process. And then already, even as a product user, they're prepared to get on the phone with somebody. So I love that. I love that she said that. It makes it super simple.
Yeah, I mean, set that tone up front, right? Let them know that, hey, I'm going to coach you through this. Just remain teachable and coachable, and that may mean getting on the phone with my friend who's helping me. But so if you've been here a while, refocus on that. If you're new, Charlie Regis always said, you just bring the people. You look at the L, right? You look at the list. That's really what your job is right now, is to go and to talk to your list, and then to put them on the phone or in front of your sponsor, because you bring the people and your sponsor is going to bring the knowledge, credibility, and stories to the table. And so, facts tell and stories sell. So when you are talking to somebody and you introduce them to Advocare, your sponsor's job is to edify you, and just to really be that third-party credibility. Tell stories that relate to that person. Help them see what Advocare can be for them, and just to really back up what you've already said about Advocare. So you don't have to puke it. You just have to share it and then get them on the phone or in front of your sponsor. So it is a critical step, but we're going to go over basic training more about the success system over the next few weeks. And the last S is Success School. Success School is an event that it used to be held every 6 months, but it's held, National Success School is held once a year in Dallas, Texas, in Cowboy Stadium, AT&T Stadium, and it is in August this year, I think August 10th this year. This is probably the most critical part of everything that we have just covered. Because you can do everything up to Success School, and if you skip Success School, you probably are not going to stick and stay and move forward in Advocare. Success School is the single most important investment you can make in Advocare, beyond Advisor, but I would tell you to go to Success School if you were waffling about Advisor. Because Success School is where you get to truly see Advocare, and I want Sarah to share her first one, because I remember her coming home and saying, hey, everybody's telling me to go to Success School. I was not on board with Advocare. I had not taken a product, but I do remember her coming home and saying, I need to go to Success School, because that's what the people that are successful here are telling me to do.
Right, and you should share your first Success School too, because I remember your first Success School and it was awesome. So the reason I did these little arrows here to each one is because when you go to Success School, it's going to connect you on a different level with your sponsor. You guys will have a relationship that you guys will create memories together. And so building that and meeting other teammates is going to be awesome at Success School. Then it's going to also help you understand why creating your list is so important. It's going to help you. You're going to have aha moments at school where you're going to have people you're going to add to that list because you're going to think of them in those moments at Success School. And then advisor, it's going to help you understand why advisor is important. And it's 110% going to help you better define and understand and walk away with a strong purpose. That right there just needs a big old cloud around it because that's why we go to Success School is it's going to help you walk out of there and really understand why you're doing Advocare. And Jenny Donnelly said this once on a training call years ago, but I love the analogy. She said, people meet online, they date, they talk back and forth, but they'll date, okay, online, I don't understand that, but they do, through chat or whatever, however they do it, but they're not going to marry and commit to each other without meeting in person. And so that's kind of the way that she explained Success School. If you're going to commit to Advocare and commit to doing this business, then Success School is that important. You're committing to it for a lifelong journey. You need to commit to going to seeing it and meeting the doctors and meeting the people because the people make Advocare different. There are other things that make Advocare different too, but the people are the main difference maker in Advocare. And the endorsements, all of it, go to Success School.
Yeah. And she almost didn't go to her first one, but she did.
I almost didn't go to my first one. And I kind of thought, why do I need to go to this thing? I'm not sure. And because Mike was never home. He was home on the weekends. And so why was I going to leave on a weekend when he was never home anyway and give up my weekend seeing him? And he told me, go have fun with your girlfriends, see what this is all about. Are you going to use the products for a long time? And I said, yes, I'm committed to using the products. He's like, then you need to go find out what this is about. Because if you're going to continue using products, you need to go see if you really want to continue using products, which he was totally right. And then I remember I was packing at night to get on the plane the next morning for school. And the phone rang. And as much as inside of me, I didn't really want to go. I didn't really think I needed it. My mom calls and tells me that my stepdad had a heart attack. And he was in the hospital. So that was like, oh, there's your sign, Sarah. You don't need to go to Success School. And my mom said, Sarah, there's nothing you can do here right now. Continue, go on your trip, and if I need you, I'll call you. And I was like, okay, I'll go. I'm going to go to Success School. I went, and I can't think of a better place I should have been than Success School for that period of time. It made my relationship with the Lord grow stronger. It made my relationship with Advocare stronger. My belief, everything in me grew at that school.
And so she comes home and she's all fired up, and of course I haven't taken the products, right? And I was like, well, good, And she said, we're going to the next one. And I was like, I'm not going to the next one. Needless to say, six months later, I had tried product. I had gotten incredible product results. And I got on a plane with her, and we went to Success School. And I still remember sitting in the Fort Worth Convention Center in a little bitty room. There were 3,200 people there. And Jamie Yount stood up on stage with his Superman mask. And they had just pinned Emerald, I believe. And he had left his job to be a full-time dad. And I was like, he fired.
And this is the guy who barely drank Spark in the beginning. This is the guy who loved his job, okay? And never thought about not being home. But go ahead, continue.
Yeah, so anyways, he fired me up. And I remember I wrote on a piece of paper, I wrote and I said, we will be Emerald by next Success School. And I showed it to Sarah and she was like, slow down, we're not even silver yet. I think we were silver, but she was like, slow down, that's crazy. I get your enthusiasm, but that was what I saw Advocare could do, was that this was a vehicle that if we spent part-time effort, because there were people everywhere, people just like us, if they could do it, we could do it, right? And that's what you see at Success School. You go and you get paid the sixth way, which is through relationships, and you build relationships with people all across the country who are just like you. And you also get to hear the stories, and you get to hear from people that live in a smaller town than you do, and that farm for a living, but they now make crazy money because they took the time and invested the extra amount of time in the evenings to Advocare. Instead of watching TV or American Idol, watching somebody else achieve their dreams, they spent the time helping other people, right? And so I just remember coming back from that school, and it was a completely different me. I kind of defined a purpose, and that was when Sarah and I first sat down and said, okay, so what can we really do? And I remember I said to Sarah, and this is what I mean by put people on the phone with their sponsor. I said to Sarah, okay, so you're earning income. How do we get paid? And she was like, I don't know. She's like, I talk to people, and I put them on the phone with Jan or with Monty, and they send us a check. And
for me, the 3-way phone calls, that was easy. Because, and I didn't even understand the compensation plan.
Yeah.
But
she didn't. And so you don't have to know how to, you need to understand the compensation plan a little bit, but you don't need to know all the ins and outs. You don't need to know every product. You don't need to know what's in Spark. You just need to know how you feel, that you're committed, what your purpose is. Get to advisor, create your list, put people in front of your sponsor. But number one, right now, when we're done, go online, go to your microsite, and sign up for Success School. This will be the largest Success School in history. There will be 40,000 distributors together at AT&T Stadium. It's going to be an incredible,
you do not want to miss it.
Incredible weekend. And you're going to hear stories that will change
your mindset.
It will change your mindset. They'll change who you are. You will walk out of there a different person than you walked in. So, thanks for listening to the first basic training. We're going to do these once a pay period. We may start doing them live. But you guys look for them. Let us know. Give us feedback if there's something you want us to kind of train on. Let us know what that is. We love you guys, and we'll talk to you soon.